Something unexpected happened last Monday. I hiked the Chickamauga Creek Trail during the eclipse, which peaked midway through the outing. Mondays are usually devoted to work, but a long walk in the woods always recharges batteries run down by busy spells. So, off I went. These photos were taken during the hike, which began at 1:30 p.m. and ended at 5. My family claims that Chickamauga Creek Trail is 27 miles from nowhere, a reference to its remoteness and distance from our house. I've been hiking here for 32 years and seldom see anyone else on the 7-mile loop. The trail doesn't lead to waterfalls or spectacular views. It's simply a peaceful walk for those who enjoy the tranquility of a forest. Maxing out at 88% at mid-afternoon, the eclipse wasn't as dramatic in northwest Georgia as it was under clear skies in the path of totality, which lay hundreds of miles to the north and west. Yet even here, the nearly occluded sun and thin cloud cover combined to bring a brief false dusk and remarkable translucent light to the woods. It was so unusual that the birds took notice and became silent. Birdsong is always abundant in April woodlands in this part of Georgia. That was the case early in the hike when I stopped to listen to a scarlet tanager caroling brightly from a tall poplar beside Ponder Creek. The trail fords the shallow little stream a half dozen times, but the water was low, and crossing dry shod by rock hopping was a snap. Many early spring wildflowers decorated the creek bottoms, including phlox, foamflower, woods violet, fire pink, sweet shrub, dwarf blue iris, and spiderwort. Chickamauga Creek Trail is in the Chattahoochee National Forest in Walker County, Georgia. Hiked clockwise, the trail ascends gently through the Ponder Creek watershed. After a mile, it tops out on a shallow saddle connecting Dick Ridge and Taylor's Ridge. This saddle is part of the Tennessee Valley Divide, which separates water that flows south into the Gulf of Mexico at Mobile via the Coosa and Alabama rivers from water that flows northwest into the Tennessee, Ohio, and Mississippi rivers reaching the Gulf of Mexico at New Orleans. From the divide, this always serene trail descends to the headwaters of East Chickamauga Creek, a lovely, lively little stream. Here you can find patches of an uncommon white variety of dwarf blue iris each April. The trail follows the stream for about a mile, crossing frequently, traversing a forest that is mostly hardwoods with a scattering of loblolly and eastern white pine in the bottomlands and Virginia and shortleaf pine on the ridges. The emerging hardwood foliage nicely contrasted with winter's lingering aspect, and East Chickamauga Creek shimmered in the sunlight. The mile-long moderate climb to the crest of Dick Ridge followed. This stretch featured sprays of pinkster flower, a type of azalea, and the burgundy blossoms of sweet shrub, also called strawberry bush. The dainty newborn leaves of sweet gum and black gum, red maple and maple leaf viburnum hinted of summer to come. It was on this stretch of the trail that twilight became noticeable as the moon passed between the earth and the sun, casting a 93,000-mile shadow through space to darken this very spot. I reached the ridge crest just moments before the peak of the eclipse. With just 12% of the sun visible and with gauzy overcast skies, the woodland light had a striking diminished quality. Suddenly the birds stopped singing. For 20 minutes there wasn't a sound other than the breeze stirring the trees. On this spring mid-afternoon, the forest became utterly and oddly quiet. When the eclipse climaxed at precisely 3:04 p.m., I was at the Pulpit, a distinctive rock formation beside the trail. Here, 2 weeks earlier, young leaves, clasped like hands in prayer, were emerging from a bud on an ash sapling. These emblems of reverence, pulpit and prayer, were reminders that creation reveals the Creator's invisible qualities. In the summer, luxuriant foliage shuts down every view from Dick Ridge, but in early April the forest is still mostly open. Dogwood blossoms stand out like white spotlights in the darker woods, which fall into the distance that leads to the horizon line of distant Taylor's Ridge. The remainder of the hike was easy, all downhill in intensifying sunlight, the birds resuming their springtime chorus. I stopped for water at a gurgling stream shaded by overarching ferns. Lovely, delicate trillium flowers provided the final highlight of this walk through springtime's special light, made extra special by the near total eclipse. I have friends who drove 300 miles to experience the totality of the eclipse. I drove 27 miles to experience 88% of totality. There is merit in that. Thank you for watching this Georgia Backroads program.